So many games these days do their utmost to provide a truly immersive and realistic experience for the player, whether it's through a clean UI, intuitive design, or mashing 12 gazillion triangles together until something photorealistic pops out. But what about you? Hang on, it says here break the fourth wall. Oh, very clever. Use common name to address you. Okay, yeah. But what about you, Sir Montague Fitzgerald? We know a man or woman of your stature deserves to be addressed directly. Nice hat, by the way.
It's a total goat.
Lucky for you, there are plenty of games out there to satisfy your inner narcissist, smashing through that television-shaped barrier between game world and real world. Technically, you could class any game with button prompts, status bars, or a tutorial as being fourth wall breaking, but some make a conscious effort to go further. Sometimes it's a light-hearted in-joke, whether it's self-aware Fallout NPCs, an angry mole that insists you save your game regularly, or 90% of all LucasArts games. Others are more sinister, however, pulling mean pranks on us, insisting we delete our save data and generally messing with our head until we're a babbling nervous wreck. Yeah, those are fun. I'm Ben from Triple Jump, and here are 10 video games that shattered the fourth wall. Number 10. The Monkey Island series. Mophead wannabe privateer Guybrush Threepwood is basically the poster boy for the classic 90s point-and-click era. A big part of this was Monkey Island's unique humor, which relied heavily on smashing barriers between player and game. LucasArts destroyed so many fourth walls in those days, we wouldn't be surprised if they helped topple that big one in Berlin too. Characters would acknowledge or address the player directly, like with Herman Toothrot's knowing asides to the camera, or with Guybrush's running commentary on the game's value for money. The sight of Monkey Island is totally worth the price apparently, but then he also says he'd never pay more than $20 for a computer game, so wait for a Steam sale, I suppose. Along with a barrage of self-referential jokes and pop culture nods, the series often takes aim at the industry as a whole, such as the infamous tree stump gag, poking fun at the seemingly hundreds of discs many PC games shipped with at the time. You can even call LucasArts out on that stump joke in Monkey Island 2 LeChuck's Revenge by phoning the developer hotline for hints, because of course you can. It's peak self-deprecating LucasArts. Number 9. Batman Arkham Asylum. If we had to pick just one comic book hero for their fourth wall breakages, you'd think it would be the wisecracking Deadpool, right? But considering he breaks kayfabe so often, we always end up expecting it. But Batboy, along with his friends Sackface and Laughing Clown, managed a much more effective surprise. When Batman Arkham Asylum arrived in 2009, the rich orphan cosplay experience never felt more authentic as we cape-swooshed and bataranged our way around a generous rogues gallery of naughty villains. And one such rude dude, Scarecrow, had another shock up his sleeve. Shortly after falling foul of his psychosis gas, the game suddenly freezes up with some convincing graphical glitches to boot. But before we can scramble through our drawers looking for console warranty details, the opening sequence restarts, except something's different. The Joker's driving the Batmobile. Batman is getting locked up. What is this madness? Oh, and now we've been shot dead. Excellent. Even the loading screen trolls us, advising us to use the middle stick. Oh, okay, sure. Let me just plug in this Nintendo 64 controller, shall I? Number 8. X-Men Mega Drive. Besides LucasArts just being, well, LucasArts, the fourth wall remained relatively sturdy in the early 90s, so 1993's X-Men for the Mega Drive was quite the rarity, if only for one specific moment. The game was notoriously tricky, even for the time. Not necessarily good, but difficult, with awkward platforming and unfair enemy placement. And as if forcing you to almost break your controller wasn't enough, they went one step further in the 5th level, Mojo's Crunch. After kicking 7 shades of cholesterol problems out of the Robo-Spider unit, Mojo, your progress just halts abruptly. You're told to reset the computer, which surely means kick this computer, right? Wrong!
No way. We got you. Not a chance.
You eventually realize they mean your computer, or, console, and only by pressing the Mega Drive's reset button will the game carry on to the final level, as you quite literally purge the in-game virus. The worst part is that you had to press the button lightly. Too hard and you'd do a full-on reset, which in the days before save slots was just asking for trouble. Number 7. Earthbound, or Mother 2. Sticking with the 90s, the 1995 cult SNES hit Earthbound, or Mother 2 if you want to get Super Famicom about this, had a brilliantly odd sense of humor and, unusually for RPGs of the time, was set in a quaint parody of small-town Americana. Except with fire hydrant enemies, and walking sprouts, and abstract art that you fight with psychic powers. Okay, you can make anything weird if you describe it like that. When starting the game, the personalized names are a nice touch, letting you include things like your favorite food.
Pints of cream.
Things get a bit creepier about halfway through, however, when Tony rings up and asks for your name. As in, your name, the one with the controller. It's strange, but you might forget about this, up until the final boss fight with Gygus. After a long battle, Paula can begin praying and will then call on you by name to do the same to help defeat this mighty foe. This, combined with the boss's death scene resembling a TV switching off, implies that only your real-world ability to stop the game was powerful enough to save the day. Number 6. Stanley Parable. As Stanley sat, eyes glued to his monitor like every other day, he clicked on another YouTube video, even though he knew he should be working at this point. Oh good, Stanley Parable is mentioned in yet another triple jump list, Stanley furiously typed into the comments section. It's so predictable. Let me guess, something about the narrator commenting on every move you make. Isn't that just every YouTube Let's Play ever made?
Oh no!
Oh sure, the self-aware narrator refers to the player and the game many times, whether you're sneaking out of the game's boundaries through a window, waiting in a broom closet for entirely too long, or being shown several of the voiceover man's video game prototypes. But if I wanted to walk around an office all day, hearing snarky comments while questioning my very existence, I'd book an appointment with Derek from HR. Oh, look at all the secret endings. Oh, how meta. Yawn. Bored now. Gonna go watch PewDiePie instead. P.S. Your intros are too long, and Tofu should have been much higher on your every Resident Evil character ranked list. As Ben finished this section, he couldn't help but wonder, have we gone too far with this bit? Number 5. Undertale. It's little wonder Undertale gets mentioned so frequently and in such glowing terms. The rich cast of charming characters and jokes act as a loving parody of old-school RPGs, much like the aforementioned Earthbound, and would be enough on their own to earn high praise. But it's the existential narrative that brings it to life, making you think twice about the lives of these digital characters. Even if you haven't played it, you're probably aware that you never actually have to kill any enemies in combat, with peaceful options available like flirt, compliment, or pet. But if you were curious what happens if you straight up murder someone, you better be ready to live with the consequences, because even if you save and reload, the sinister Flowey will remember. Complete a pacifist run after previously going full genocide? It'll remember that too. And if you do multiple genocide runs in a row, well, things get real weird. Undertale manages to pull at your inner completionist's urges to see every ending, and at the same time make you feel bloody awful for doing so, crushing both the fourth wall and our hearts. Number 4. Eternal Darkness. As a general rule, real life is usually scarier than video games. We wouldn't dream of jumping off a tall tower into a 2-meter wide bale of hay in real life. You might annoy a local farmer for one thing, and they can be scary enough as it is. Eternal Darkness, the 2002 psychological horror title for the GameCube, also understood the best way to freak you out was to mess with your perception of the real world. During the game, the more Lovecraftian monstrosities you saw, the more your sanity meter would fall, leading to some increasingly disturbing visions like hanging bodies, blood drippings, or your head falling off and reciting Hamlet.
To be or not to be.
Naturally, the real spookums came with the fourth wall breaks. The mild ones, like your TV's volume being lowered, are bad enough, but when it starts deleting inventories, resetting the game to the start menu, and bringing up blue screens of death, honestly, we're 5 seconds away from switching off the TV properly and hiding in a cupboard. The most notoriously savage troll came with the game pretending to delete your save data, a cruel trick that we haven't seen the last of yet. Number 3. Pony Island. Let's clear this up quickly. Pony Island is not a game about ponies. Okay, admittedly there's a pony game in here somewhere, but it's mixed with hacking puzzles and trippy sequences because that pony game is possessed by the devil who wants to claim your soul. Make sense yet? It's okay if it doesn't. That's the beauty of this mind-bending 2016 puzzler made almost entirely by one indie developer, Daniel Mullins. This self-aware title subverts your normal gaming expectations, and hacking your way around an existing game's code, adding new features to the in-game 2D runner in order to continue, makes for an interesting twist on how we view progression in games. The Devil, or 1U copyright IF $R, even calls you a cheater numerous times, which is certainly an accurate reflection of most Call of Duty lobbies, also known as hell. But the real devil is in the details with one particular boss. Major spoiler alert, by the way. Are you ready? You ready? We're gonna talk about it now. Here we go. Steam messages! Yes, the game sneakily distracts you with fake Steam messages, pulling a real username from your contacts to really mess with you. Not to mention confuse your friend after you write a 2 a.m. reply filled with terrified gibberish. Number 2. The Metal Gear Solid series. Of course we've got Metal Gear Solid. How could we leave out Kojima's celebrated stealth action series notorious for repeatedly destroying the fourth wall? For many of us, our first introduction to the concept of how does a video game know about that came from the first game's infamous Psycho Mantis fight. Using the power of psychokinesis and telepathy and reading your memory card's data, Mr. Mantis taunts the player by reciting their previously played games and genres, and then uses the controller's rumble feature, the power of his will, to move your controller. And of course there's the old controller import 2 trick which you'll need to properly defeat him. These meta moments appear across all mainline games, like Metal Gear Solid 2's Arsenal Gear sequence where a glitched kernel spouts old repeated dialogue and urges you to switch off the console.
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
What did you say?
There's the self-referential Rykov mask in Snake Eater, and the time paradox if you accidentally kill someone who appears in the previous games later in the timeline.
You created a time paradox.
And guess who's back for a final farewell tour in the 4th entry? Yep, old Psycho, although he's less impressive this time around.
What? Where is your data? Where is it saved? It's memory card.
Number 1. Doki Doki Literature Club. Okay, seriously, spoiler warning for this game. It goes places you don't expect, so if you're in any way interested in experiencing this game, which is free, by the way, then switch off now. And that's us breaking the fourth wall, you can do that. All good? Alright, well, brace yourselves.
Hell.
Despite looking and sounding like one of 12 million dating simulator games on Steam, 2017's Doki Doki Literature Club will leave you mentally scarred for completely different reasons. Beyond the visual novel veneer, this game descends into some truly dark themes around mental health and self-harm. Despite the spoiler warning, we won't delve too deeply into specific character details, but we can't avoid mentioning one in particular, the self-appointed leader, Monica. As the game goes on, she develops quite the mean streak, and as the fourth wall starts crumbling away, it's revealed that she's self-aware of her status as a video game character. She'll then start messing with save files and deleting characters from the game, forcing you to start again, carrying on as if that person never existed in the first place, save for some unsettling glitches. In one of the endings, Monica will even delete the entire game, stating that no happiness can be found here, and after witnessing all this, we wholeheartedly agree, please just make it stop. And here we are, finally at the outro, where we look back at the previous entries and ask you for your favorite examples. This isn't us trying to break the fourth wall, by the way. We literally can't think of anything else to say after Doki Doki. All we can think about is scrubbing our brain to erase haunting memories. Christ. You can follow myself and Triple Jump on Twitter here, and while you're at it, why not support the things you enjoy by having a look at our Patreon. Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Ben from Triple Jump, and thanks for watching.